Welcome to another GTO playlist. What was it you were doing yesterday for Gran Turismo?
Yeah.
What? Your voice you were doing for Gran Turismo yesterday.
Well, that's for that video.
That is.
Well, I really liked it.
Well, good.
Really
you should go watch that video.
Got me amped.
Thanks for making me plug it.
Yeah.
That's okay.
You plugged it now. So I think we're doing some more. Oh shit!
I went up.
Oh fuck! I hit the bottom and blew up. That's way off. I think this is I don't know if this is a transform race, but the lovely people in our subreddit have given us some choices of maps to play through.
No.
Straight away.
Couldn't get out of it.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you very much for doing that. You can always suggest more, or even make some if you feel like making stuff.
Do whatever
like
the fuck you want. You can just sit there and
Aldenero.
watch if you want.
You really can.
Saw
Honestly.
Aldenero again on MC.
Yeah, we did. It's good to see him.
Was it Trot? That
No,
didn't sound genuine.
son of a bitch.
Yeah.
No, he's made some nicer tracks apparently.
Yeah. TY.
He's gone easy on us, which is fair
Yeah.
because we were
I
inept
think
at the
he
game.
made one of these,
Apparently, the bounce track that we had all that trouble with on the quad bikes was meant to be done in the rocket car.
but it didn't give you that option. That's the
No,
thing.
it didn't.
So
He said
that
he
was
fucked it up.
just an unfortunate.
Which I'm glad
scenario.
he accepted that was his failure because
Yeah.
it was, you know, absolutely nothing to do with us.
It's weird that
that
he can
shit.
publish that track with that error. Because you have to do it with the category of car that they've selected on the...
Maybe he
Never
didn't
mind.
publish it with
It's
the right
fine.
category
Look.
of car.
Either way, he's working on some transform tracks. Other
Right.
people
Oh,
have
nice.
made some stuff as well.
Oh, sweet.
I don't think this is a transform track. This
No,
is
it's
a
not.
regular stunt
I haven't
one.
transformed once.
No,
Ross?
So, guys, I was reading the news recently.
that's weird.
Yeah, I like to do it now and then.
Yeah.
My mum doesn't like to read the news.
Sorry.
You know, I was
She
talking.
doesn't want to read
My
these.
dad's pretty politically active, and he likes to call me up and talk to me about certain things going on in
Yeah.
the world. And my mum's just always in the background going, God, why do you guys get so worked up about this? Just ignore it. And I'm
Just
like,
ignore it.
Wow.
Mum, you can't ignore
Bury
it.
your head
But
in the
I feel
sand.
like that does happen a lot though. I mean, what, like some people don't want to hear it, and that's fair enough. Like they just have, you know, their viewpoints and don't want to hear it.
But it's not a viewpoint to not hear something, surely. Oh, fucking hell. That didn't work at all.
But like, you hear a lot of it passively anyway. So it's just like, if you want to, like, for example, if someone's watching this and go,
Yeah, but that's filtered through somebody.
here we are talking about it. They
It's
came to
filtered
us.
enough
yeah,
through
is that
the
not
news.
even worse than having your own opinion, though? Like, if you're having somebody else's opinion.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I guess in a way you do have somebody else's opinion by reading a particular kind
but
of
then
news.
it's a,
filtered
it's a
through
shame
two people.
that she doesn't care.
Well, it's not that she doesn't care. She says that it's essentially she feels that she has a better life by not
Right. Okay.
paying so much
Life of
attention
naivety.
to all the shit that's going on.
That
she's like,
the ignorance is bliss theory.
in
to
a
a
way,
degree.
she says like, well, if it doesn't affect her,
Yeah.
then why should she get stressed out about it?
Is that
Okay.
like saying Brexit?
Yeah, that's pretty much we were talking about. All
That's
sorts
the
of
argument,
stuff.
right?
We were talking about Brexit. We were talking about Russian collusion. Basically, the same stuff I talked to you guys about.
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
But my dad does a lot of reading into it. You know, he's on
Yeah.
the Facebook conspiracy website. Nah, he's not. But
Huh?
you know, we do talk about like just the level of Russian collusion and stuff that
Sure. Yeah.
seems to be going on. Honestly, at this point, I said it way early. I think hopefully it's in a video somewhere.
I said it
hope-
first.
I hope that I'm right.
First,
in the,
hipster.
there was
Political hipster.
there is Russian influence in the election of the United States,
Right.
and they wanted Donald Trump to get in because
It
nothing,
would
nothing
separate
better
and
than yeah, exactly.
separate America.
Or at least he had Russia's interests at heart, or at least his way of ruling is beneficial to
Well,
them.
they'll all line their pockets with oil money.
Yeah, because he's got rid of the Clean Fuel Act, which it's interesting because obviously a lot of people got put out of work, a lot of coal towns and stuff got put out of work. But there should be things in place. A good government would try and put things in place to help those people rather than just going, you know what, we'll go back
You're
to
done.
coal
Well,
instead.
some would argue that he did that though, right? In terms of
What?
like he kept coal going or whatever, and that's
no,
what
you
that
need
was
something
his-
else that is
Yeah,
an
yeah,
alternative job for these people.
That's the thing. The argument is that he got them jobs, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. Well, that's a very short-term view, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
And,
yeah.
it's easy for us who don't work in coal to go, people who work in coal should just suffer because it's the environment's at stake and stuff. And it's like, well, no, that's not fair, is it? To say those people should just lose their jobs because it's bad for the environment. But we need governments. It's the government's job to find an alternative.
Are there
isn't
not
it?
jobs in cleaner energy? What I wonder. I don't
Well,
know.
there probably is, but the thing is, you need retraining, don't you, and things like
Yeah,
that.
and
So
the
you need
cost of the
schemes to
expense is
retrain
much
them.
higher. Therefore, yeah.
Yeah, so there is a counter argument there, but ultimately we can't just go, nah, fuck it, get rid of Clean Fuel Act, let's just have coal, because it is damaging the environment, a lot. Anyway, that wasn't what I was actually going to talk about.
Sure. Right.
I was going to talk about remember like 75 years ago or so, there was
I was around 75.
there was a few words said, a bit of a scuffle.
Is that, yeah.
Well, there was a few the odd skirmish that later became known as World War II.
Oh yeah.
And,
Big
classic,
day.
if you will.
During World
Available
War
on
II,
Xbox.
we all dropped a lot of bombs on each other, you know, like fucking left, right,
That's the
centre.
summary, yeah.
We all dropped a few
Naughty
bombs.
Oh, you dropped a bomb. Naughty.
And we're still finding
dropped a bomb
unexploded
on me.
bombs even now. So in Germany recently, an elderly pensioner, an 85-year-old man, found an unexploded bomb in his
That would be terrifying.
in his garden, right? So he found an unexploded
Did
bomb.
he know it was unexploded at the time, or?
Well, I mean, he just saw this bomb right in his garden.
It's like shit.
So
I may as well
so-
assume it's unexploded.
I'm guessing that he was doing something to his garden.
it was whole, so you know you're going to assume it's unexploded.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's best to think the worst, right? In that kind of scenario.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're not going to. Yeah. Anyway, so and recently, you know, they evacuated like 65,000 people out
Holy
of.
shit.
Now it's a goat town, but like, yeah, they evacuated 65,000 people out of places. So it's a big deal. So he calls them up. He calls up the bomb disposal squad. They're like, oh yeah, bloody hell, yeah.
Shit! Bloody hell! What's this?
Nightmare, mate, nightmare.
That's a bomb.
That's going to damage your property
Don't
value.
like bombs.
And
I can see Germans saying that.
so they turn up
Bloody hell.
and they go and have a look at this unexploded bomb. It's just a very large courgette in his garden.
So what? That was it.
It was a very
It was
large.
just a large courgette. He got
It was
people
a
around. He got
five-
specialists.
a 5 kilogram courgette.
They evacuated
Wow.
65,000 people
No, they didn't
before.
evacuate anyone. This is the kind of things
the
they
risk
do.
that could have happened.
Yeah. So they turned up 5 kilogram courgette in his garden. He doesn't grow courgettes, so he's a little mystified. Turns out somebody thrown the courgette over a fence into his garden, and
It's
he
a
thought it
loose
was
courgette.
an unexploded bomb. And the bomb disposal squad were quoted as saying, "Yeah, it did look a fair bit like a bomb, to be fair."
Yeah.
Wow.
Just a big old
I just found that
courgette.
very
man.
funny little story.
That's nuts.
That's nice, mate. That's like a little mini hat chat right there.
It is like a little mini hat chat, isn't it?
It's nice.
Oh, I missed that.
Give
A lot of
it
people
warm,
probably don't even
tingly-
know what hat chat is. It's been a year since I
Well,
last
we're
one.
just chatting.
It's just
really.
chatting shit, yeah.
Just chatting
It's
shit.
basically just chatting
Without a
shit.
game in the background.
Yeah.
And no haberdashery.
Nope.
Haberdashery.
Oh no, sorry, millinery is the
Oh, yeah.
art of creating hats.
We're never talking about how
Milling.
to make a hat. We've never made a hat, have we? We made a paper hat.
I've made a tinfoil hat numerous times.
You are, yeah. You've
Get that bad boy on.
I'm a real
Jesus.
Get it back
tinfoiler.
on.
What about the internet waves?
Yeah, those internet waves might affect you.
They're so powerful and strong nowadays.
So any pro-Trumpers that still follow, I guess I doubt any exist anymore.
Probably.
Or
sick of
maybe
us.
we'll get some of those bots, or the irrevocably
Do you think they're on YouTube?
Russian Twitter bots that back up Trump. I mean, literally, they
I'm
say
sure there's got to be
they
some
are
people
from Russia.
Oh, there's going to be support. Of course
That-
there are.
There
Great.
are, but there are also a shit ton of bots. Also, a massive amount of Facebook and Twitter ads that were pro-Trump bought from Russia.
Oh,
Bought
yeah, I
by
saw
Russia.
that,
You
yeah.
cannot deny that, right?
Interesting.
Anyway,
It's very interesting.
So Twitter was involved in those ads as well, right?
yeah,
Some of
they
them.
were, yeah. Anyway, so what I was going to say is,
Just give money, you know.
if Russia, historically, the US's greatest enemy, okay, the Cold War, right? It was huge. It was like one of the last big superpower wars, you know, between Russia and America,
Yeah.
right? If Russia wants something or wants a particular leader in your nation, what does that say? You know,
Yeah.
what does that say about it? So say ISIS, wanted a particular leader in power.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Russia and ISIS are the same, but I'm saying if a known
gotta wonder
enemy
what the, agenda is,
or
yeah,
a past
yeah.
enemy wanted a particular, you know, leader in power, what does that say to you? That's like, you know, wow, okay, a potential enemy of ours, or one of the biggest potential threats to our country in the world, wants this particular leader and has bought ads and has bots running to promote them. Kind of says perhaps you shouldn't choose that leader if you don't want that country's influence on your country, or at least you know, it's about denying the enemy, right?
But you'll get so you're going to get a lot. We're going to get a lot of people in the chat, you know, saying that we're ill-informed, we don't know anything. In the past, we've scrutinized what Trump said and stuff, based on video evidence of him saying those words.
Yeah.
You can't deny the things he says.
No.
And if you can't trust and believe what a president says,
calls people names.
what the
Calls
fuck
people
is
names
the
on
point in them being
Twitter.
a president?
At the very least, he has
I don't
made
know
a
about
mockery
specific
of,
stories
of the office, right?
Sorry, yeah.
At the very
yeah.
least, he's turned the office of the president, which is typically, yes, a politic, but at least one that sort of tries to act respectfully into one that calls people names.
Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. It's petty. It's really petty.
And we're petty, but that's because we're fucking internet YouTubers. We know our position.
Yeah, exactly.
If we were Prime Minister or if we were President, we'd probably act a little differently.
It's like somebody, I think in one of our comments, compared the words of like a rapper and said that, if he can say it, why can't the president? Because he's a fucking president, you douchebag. That's so fucking stupid.
It's like saying...
He's a president of a country.
Well, okay, if I can say it, why can't I say it as a primary school teacher? You can't swear your ass off as a primary school teacher because you're a primary school teacher and you have certain responsibilities to shape those kids.
It's just about time to say I'm both running for Prime Minister
and President at the same time?
No, it's primary school teacher.
Okay.
Running for it. Well, having
First
a run
words,
to the...
cunt. And there's also counting.
Wow.
Because, teach them how many letters are in the word cunt.
Yeah.
And then we'll sing a little song.
There's 4.
I mean, you can do that now.
Well, you know, because you're not primary school.
Oh, come on. Give me that. I'm not very good at spelling, Trot.
That's an odd segue, Trot.
Prime Minister Trot.
Sorry,
education and dogs in houses.
No, I understand what you're doing, Trot. No, I get it. People don't want to hear this stuff. And that's the thing. I get why. Nobody wants to hear about politics all the time. It's just sometimes really just hard to believe that some of this stuff is happening. It's just crazy. It's just like
it's like a reality check to talk about it.
Let's just all live after Smith's mum and just bury her head.
Yeah.
And forget about it. Don't you fucking do this to me, right? Oh.
Sorry, I got out there. I
slipped
pretty quick. Yeah.
But that's the thing. I feel like talking about these things is important.
And the problem is,
of course,
Craig is huge pro-Trump.
He has to trying to edit around. He's trying to cut all of this.
He's got a picture of Trump on his desk in a little frame.
It's weird how ornate the frame is, isn't it?
It's a really fancy frame. He said he spent a month's earnings on it, and I was like, well, that's really silly.
Yeah, it's like a wedding ring.
That's fair enough.
You should always spend a month's salary on a wedding ring, apparently.
It says Roz in trash boxes. Do you see that?
No.
R-O... Am I going insane?
Yeah.
Maybe.
You're going insane, Ross. I think...
This is called Player Ready Ross or something.
Why is that so high up?
Ross.
I'm watching you.
Oh.
But yeah, people, there's a lot of people who don't like us being political stuff. There's a lot of people who do actually enjoy these kind of chats where we voice some
I don't think I'm ever not going to at least want to talk about politics.
There is a flaw in the fact that we don't have anyone countering it.
We all have the same opinion.
Yeah.
We don't have anyone here countering it.
And we're just kind of like echo chambering ourselves.
It doesn't provide a fair
That's why I come in with a sweet fucking one-liner of I'm going to run for a primary school teacher,
that's great.
which is hilarious.
It is funny. You're a funny guy.
Thank you. And that's why I'm running for Prime Minister.
Right, as the funny party.
Yeah.
More importantly, who would you be most disappointed to find out was some sort of weird molester? Like in the media. You know, this whole Kevin Spacey thing.
Oh, that would be so disheartening.
That'd be heartbreaking.
Attenborough. Well, we've got bad news for you,
everything. Because the thing is, not only does it just destroy, obviously, their current career, but obviously everything... is that Colin? You saw it. You saw the Ross. Okay, good.
That's why I said it.
Effectively, you're going to now look at the stuff that he was in, and that's all you're going to think about. That's all you're going to remember. Is
he was an animal molester.
He was.
He did with that orangutan.
And then obviously, more and more stories are coming out about these things, about numerous different, like Dustin Hoffman as well.
Dominoes are falling.
Jesus.
And obviously, it's an atrocious thing for them to have done.
Yes.
But it completely changes your opinion. And obviously, there's a load of films, a load of stuff would you have to write off. But what, in your mind, other than obviously David Attenborough, would probably affect you the most? Oh, for fuck's sake! Actually, I really enjoyed that stuff.
Rowan Atkinson, that would fucking kill me. I love Rowan Atkinson.
Mr. Bean.
Yeah.
Well, not just Mr.
Mr.
Bean is not his seminal
the character
work.
of Mr. Bean is such a naive but lovable guy.
Yeah.
Right. And for him to sexually assault somebody just really gets me out.
I was thinking about. Grinds my gears.
I was thinking about this the other day as well. Exactly this, right? And again, this might be an
Rowan
unpopular opinion. Brace yourself.
Not to take away. Sorry, just before I say, not to take away the fact that they've done something horrible and they don't deserve that popularity and fame. But it's obviously the media that you know them from, you appreciate.
The fact that I've been fooled by that person.
But now it's like, oh fuck, like it's tarred it for you. But
yeah.
So go on.
Absolutely.
Go on.
But is that necessarily fair? Okay,
yes.
So not to take away from their
depends what they've done, doesn't it?
Assaults and stuff. No, even then, right? Okay, so think about this.
God.
Okay, so
Here
we go.
I'm not ready for this.
Right. I don't have a tin hat.
Celebrity.
My tin hat fell off.
Celebrity in general.
Yeah, go on.
Sort of amplifies crimes in a way, doesn't it? Because think about this, right?
It doesn't amplify their actions.
No, it amplifies
they do the same actions as any other sexual assault.
It amplifies the horror that people feel for those actions.
Right,
I think. Okay, so
it definitely vocalizes to a bigger.
Let's say, and you feel worse because celebrity makes you feel as though you know that person better, right. And you build an image of that person in your head, right?
But it's no different than becoming good friends with someone in a work situation, finding out they are a sexual predator, and then being fired.
If anything,
I would feel the same.
They have a power.
The thing is, though, their mistakes are far less escapable than the average person's mistake.
That's it, yeah.
And I think that's
unfair.
But
they should be, but they haven't. They've basically gone away with it for a long time.
Why? So you think that they should escape it?
No, I just think that it's unfair that they don't have the same chances to. They don't have second chances or anything like that.
That's it. They won't get.
Yeah, but
and the thing is,
that's the same for all aspects of the life. The sexual assault thing is
because some of these sexual assaults, some of them are terrible. Don't get me wrong, but some of these things that have been done, I can't comment for anything I haven't heard about. But for example, Kevin Spacey, okay? Right. He did something when he was in his 20s with somebody who was at a party with him. Okay.
To be fair, since then there's been a lot of allegations.
Yeah, and I haven't heard them, so I'm just using it as sort of like a devil's advocate example, okay?
Right. If he only did that one thing is what you're saying.
Yes, if he had only done that one thing.
Made one mistake, a single one.
Yeah, then, you could probably find somebody else who isn't famous that perhaps came on too strong to somebody or did something, put somebody in an uncomfortable position when they were drunk and young and not wise, and nobody found out about it or somebody just forgot about it and said, oh, you shouldn't have done that. Like that person said, you shouldn't have come on to me like that. You shouldn't have pushed me onto that bed. That sort of things. And they would have been, you're right, I'm really sorry. That was terrible of me. I was inebriated, which isn't an excuse, but perhaps a reason for why I acted so stupidly. I'm incredibly sorry. They may survive that easier than a celebrity would. I
think the problem is that situation wasn't resolved between those two people. He probably did it and forgot about it, and there was never that dialogue between those two people where it was like, what I did was terrible.
Perhaps because of his career, he was terrified to confront that.
That's it. And that's it. There's a fear of being not believed.
He should have confronted that person and said, if I I don't know if he forgot. Did he forget?
Maybe
he claimed that he was drunk, and that's the thing. And obviously, then he said, "Oh, by the way, I'm gay." So it's just like it's very much just
that was just a bad PR.
Of course,
that he shouldn't have done.
That's almost admitting to it.
Well, no, it was more that he used being gay as a justification for his lewd act.
Yeah, but he did the act, and then he was like, "Oh, by the way, that probably makes me gay. I'm also gay. By the way, I'm living life as a gay man." And so it's just like, well, that's not an excuse. That's not, you can't apologize. And it also kind of
paints LGBT people in a... He makes them sound as though he's saying that, LGBT people are like that, though.
Well, that's it. In Russia, don't they... Well, is it Russia? I don't know where it is specifically. I saw a documentary where they were explaining that they treat homosexual people as if they are paedophiles as well. So this did not back up that at all. The fact that he potentially molested a 14-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And it just it's a very bad representation, and it just made things worse. So.
Doing a little link with what you said about how Russia treats, and some other states around Russia treat gay people terribly.
You're not going to do that story about the guy, the singer, right?
No, I'm not. I'm going to talk about... Last night I was watching Ross Kemp in prisons. Okay,
he's just chilling out of prison.
Yeah, so Ross Kemp goes to a prison and he talks to people.
He's a criminal.
And he says things like, he meets one guy, right, who murdered somebody. It didn't go into huge amounts of detail, but they kind of painted it this way. Basically, this person killed somebody because it seems like, from what I can gather, the person they killed was committing domestic abuse against somebody that the person knew. So I can imagine it was something like, it was his sister, and his sister's husband was beating her up, so he killed her.
So there's a sympathetic frame of mind there.
Yes, it's certainly how they painted it. Ross Kemp was like, he made one mistake in his life, and now he's in here for good, and all that sort of stuff. But then they went to the sex offenders wing. Right. Okay, so they went to the sex offender wing, and immediately you had this classic framing of I'm not looking forward to this at all. They had this framing with the other people where he's like, oh yeah, these lads are bad. Some of these people are bad. They've made mistakes. They shouldn't be in here this long and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, so he's sort of like, it's everyday crime. He's like, but sex offenders. The classic sort of Daily Mail approach to sex offenders. It's sex offenders, disgusting, despicable. They shouldn't be let out. All this sort of stuff. And so
this person killed somebody.
He spoke. Yeah, exactly. He spoke to this bloke and who had his voice disguised, but he sounded quite old. And he had been put in prison for like the 3rd time for looking at lewd pictures of children. Okay,
right.
Which is horrible, and it absolutely fuels the production of those images, which is of course in itself a horrible, horrible crime.
Yeah.
And he said so Ross Kemp said to this guy, do you think you'll do it again? And he said no. He goes, right. But do you think that like prison has sort of helped you with this?
Yeah.
Or
God.
And and he said no. He said as in cured? No, not at all. And he says, do you think you'll ever stop having these feelings about children? And he's like, no. Like he said, I can't help it. And he's like, wow, right. you're and Ross Kemp was like, you're happy just to say that. And he looked like Ross Kemp was doing the classic, like, I'm going to punch this guy in a minute. He's like, you're happy to just say that? Those kids out there being harmed by this stuff. He's like,
break your fucking legs, sorry.
And he was like,
we're on TV.
And the guy was like, yeah, I appreciate the harm I've caused, and that's why I'm in prison and all this sort of stuff. Like, yeah, he was pretty candid about it, and like doesn't seem like he particularly cared. And
same with Louis Theroux's documentaries about this as well.
It shows, right, that these people are sexually attracted to children, right? But I really do feel that it's like back when people used to persecute gays. Like
in terms of a choice, like
it's not, they can't help it. You cannot help who you're sexually attracted to.
I guess they can help not to physically harm.
Exactly. They shouldn't consume that media because it harms children. Because the problem with it all is children can't consent. They cannot consent, and that is the crux. Even if that person cannot help being sexually attracted to children, children cannot consent, and so that media cannot be created. Okay, so. But the truth of the matter is, you can't just say, paedophiles are disgusting, they're a danger to children, they should be kept inside. Yeah. Because they cannot help that. Like, perhaps it's genetic, just like gay people can't help being attracted to the same person of their sex, it's... No, but that's all I'm saying. On a sexual... On a sexual attraction level,
I know what you mean, but
is it.
I don't want people to misconstrue.
But people aren't prepared to have this conversation,
is it Radio 1, BBC Radio 1 and Newsbeat and stuff, they were discussing this as well, where they were talking to people who are affected by this, who haven't actually committed any sex crimes, but they have admitted that they are a paedophile, effectively.
Yeah.
And that there's no real, there's not a lot of support for them, because obviously, who wants to help?
Is there any therapy? Yeah. You just get locked away and then...
Like, you can't happens. Even really say it's a mental disorder, although it probably could fall under that, because you cannot prove it's a mental disorder.
Right.
It's not that their brain is doing something wrong, unless you also say that being straight is your brain is doing something wrong because it's doing something different to being gay, or vice versa.
You could argue that, incest, isn't there an impulse for a mother to do absolutely nothing to their son because they are biologically repulsed by the fact that,
their genes are too close together? Yeah, well...
Is there something similar for paedophilia in the sense that, you are physically unattracted to someone that isn't of age
because they can't
and ready to reproduce? Biologically.
Yeah, I mean, that could be an interesting way to go down.
And therefore it would be a mental disorder because...
Or a physical disorder.
Circumventing that...
Yeah, or a hormonal disorder.
Biological need.
Yes, potentially. However...
On the Louis Theroux...
go on, sorry.
On the Louis Theroux documentary, I think one of the guys was chemically castrated because he wanted help. He didn't want to be able to feel that way.
Yeah. He wanted to be part of society.
What he did. But whether that helped or not, I have no idea. But
I just think that
brutish method that's like a physical cut off, isn't it? That's like cutting off your dick so you don't have sex again.
Yeah,
it's not really going to stop your impulses.
Well, it might
your brain.
do if it reduces hormone production.
Well, maybe testosterone. Yeah.
But and then obviously Ross Kemp just ended the interview like, I need to get out of this. This is horrible. But it was just such a close-minded approach to what was quite an open-minded show, really, because he was talking about how these people are, they're not criminals simply because they're criminals.
It's like a polar opposite of Louis Theroux.
Yeah, what he was like.
He was more kind of sympathetic to the fact that these people want help, and they're trying to get it, but it's not really as well supported. I mean, in certain countries it's not.
Well, and now this thing in the US has come out that sex offenders are going to have to be shown on their passport.
Oh yeah.
So whenever they go to another country, it's going to say this person was convicted of a sex offence under this act.
Like Chris Rock Gilla.
And also that could be anything. That could be. So there was a guy recently charged with child sex offences for taking pictures of himself nude whilst underage.
What? Wait, what? Sorry, he took pictures of himself when he was underage.
When he was underage, he had photos of himself on his phone, naked.
Shit.
He was apparently trying to use them to lure college freshmen. But he was in possession of images of his own naked body, and that classified as a potential child sex offence.
And then I guess also counted as him distributing.
Just distribution.
Child porn, right?
Yes.
As well.
So under the new laws, he would then have that on his passport is a sex offender.
Yeah.
Again, stuff
That's
like
very
a 16
interesting.
and a 17-year-old having sex, that could be that
Yeah.
person can be convicted of child sex offences. So that gets put on
God,
your
yeah, like,
passport
fuck.
for every country you go to.
Yeah, and I think, people are growing up super quickly and learning about this shit,
Yeah.
at an age where we didn't.
Also, makeup tutorials. My God. The amount of children who have like fucking Zoella-style makeup like on their face is fucked up. It's like, God, what's that little kid doing with all that crazy fucking clown makeup on? That's so weird. It's just so weird to see
And
it.
that kind of
What the
ties
fuck?
into the whole didn't know their age
Yeah.
thing.
One last thing about that whole getting a sex offender on your passport thing.
Go on.
A person who's a mass murderer,
Have you Tipp-X'd yours out?
a mass murderer would have nothing on his passport.
Keep falling off this fucking
So
track.
a person that has
does a mass murderer get one?
no.
I mean, obviously they'll be in jail, but like,
well, no, not all the time. A person who's killed 3 people could be out again,
Yeah,
and
true.
or like a person who's had like 1 million DUIs,
so
like
it says killer on your passport. Dear God, what did you do?
exactly. But none of that is being put on passports. Yet a person who,
Yeah.
like that kid who took photos of himself, or a person who was in a relationship that
that's the
eventually they
thing.
got married in,
maybe
like.
It's the lack of classification on these things. It's like that joke in is it
Big
Horrible Bosses? Have you seen Horrible Bosses
Yeah,
where
yeah.
Charlie Day's character
Yeah.
is he called Charlie Day in that?
No,
Maybe.
we all know.
You know who I mean?
him for
Yeah,
that.
Where he took a piss in a play park, then is now a sex offender. And that's the joke is the fact that it's so kind of broad the term sex offender that he's now has to claim that he's a sex offender because he took a piss in a park and got caught. So like, I mean, obviously that's not real, but like it just kind of highlights an
example of that
element of the
danger.
fact that
Yeah.
you could be an extreme mass paedophile distributing millions of photos,
Yeah.
or you could just be
whoever.
An
fucking
idiot peeing in a
misguided
park.
teenager who took a picture of yourself naked and
And
sent it
then
to
you're
someone.
forever. It's almost been branded, isn't
And
it?
they're categorized in the same way. So
And they're so
maybe it's a case
demonized that people are terrified of it. Like,
Yeah.
imagine if you got
God.
fucking child sex offender on your passport. That would be horrific.
Fuck yeah, of course.
Like, for doing something
Fuck.
like that. Like, I know I've pissed in plenty of playgrounds. Like, obviously in the middle of the night.
Piss in playgrounds regularly for fun.
Yeah. Like,
Just-
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just a fucking. I don't like the way there is this instant demonization of
Yeah.
people for acts. Like everything needs context.
but it requires money and time to categorize these things. And to
And
kind
get
of,
that context.
Sort those things out in general. So it's more of a government thing as well.
Exactly.
at the
But they
heart.
don't do that. They just want to get these big
It's
headlines.
It's
that are
easier
like,
to just let you go.
sex offenders are disgusting, right?
you did
Yeah,
that,
they're
now fuck
disgusting. Let's put it on their passports.
But yeah.
God, I can't stand it.
Another thing before we end: has Harvey Weinstein been arrested yet?
Don't know.
I don't actually know.
I don't think
Ross.
he has.
I don't know.
The moment Cliff Richard was fucking suspected, the police were knocking on his door before they even knew.
He is pretty suspect, though. isn't
Anyway, very serious GTA there for you.
he? What are your thoughts?
Feel free to discuss it in the chat below. Have a bloody good day.
Bye.
Bye.